day. The individuals who are selected for this program are rated on what's called a next generation assessment that the Georgia Department of Corrections does. And the next generation assessment just looks at their criminogenic needs, and anyone who scores a 5 or higher would be a part of this particular program, and it just makes sure that we're providing support for the individuals who need the most support. And we have some great things that have happened in the last couple of years. Ban the Box, which you all were very instrumental in making happen, has created an opportunity for individuals that we serve to have an equal footing to get employment with everybody else who's out there seeking employment. We have a central repository in Atlanta where documents like Social Security cards and birth certificates, etc., are now available and readily accessible to individuals who are coming out of prison, where before those things may have been shredded or discarded because they were moved from one location to another. Now they are in a central area and available to everybody. And we have opportunity for each individual who's coming out of prison to get a state ID. Previously, they were being released with a prison ID, which they couldn't do anything with, but a state ID allows them to go and get employment, allows them to get any other documentation that they might need after that, and that in turn creates an opportunity for them to obtain employment and housing, because you can't get either one of those things without the proper ID. We have a couple of other programs that I just wanted to mention briefly. One is I Choose Support, which is a mentoring program and provides mentoring support for individuals who are working with us. I forgot about that. And also have a Healing Communities, that's okay. Healing Communities opportunity where individuals are, congregations, nonprofits, and other organizations are asked to come alongside the officers that work with these individuals to support them. And then the Reentry Partnership Housing Program is a program where individuals, either realtors or individuals who own homes, can have the opportunity to receive short-term financial assistance to help stabilize the offenders and during their reentry process. Your support is needed in several different ways. We would like for you to go out and kind of share the information about DCS, because right now if I call somebody and say I'm calling from the Department of Community Supervision, they have no idea what I'm talking about. I usually have to say formally parole and probation, and then they get it. So we want to kind of brand that throughout the community, and we could use your support in doing that. We'd appreciate your support in sharing information about the Georgia Prisoner Reentry Initiative, which is very dear to the governor's heart and is very beneficial to the city and the community in terms of keeping our community safe. And we would also like for you to assist with introductions, for me particularly, to have the opportunity to share this information with other nonprofit organizations and businesses and so forth that are in your various districts. It helps a lot of times if you introduce me, it helps me get a foot in the door so I have an opportunity to share the information and the ways that we can work together to keep the community safe. I do have a flyer available for each of you that outlines briefly each of these opportunities that we have, and my contact information is listed there. My phone number is 478-960-5332, and my email address is melanie.connor with an E at dcs.ga.gov. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to share this information. I want to thank Pop Santa Barnes for inviting me as well.
Can you give us your telephone number again, please?
It's 478-960-5332.
If you can put on the flyer that you're going to give us your contact information.
Yes, ma'am, it's on there.
Then we can give it to Mike King, and it can be on the Government Access Channel. And the public will know that you have been here, because this will be broadcast several times during the week.
I'm sorry?
The program today will be broadcast several times during the week, so the
Yes.
public will know about you.
Okay, great. That's wonderful.
Are there any questions? Let's see who's first. Councilor Barnes.
Yes, Mayor and Council, Mayor Pro Tem and Council, I asked for Melody to come here because there was somewhat of a hiatus or break between the initial presentation when Monica, Miss Monica Eccles was here. And I wanted her to cover the specific areas that she needed to cover. First of all, I think I asked you, but I did speak with the governor's wife when she came down with the REACH scholarship program, which I was fortunate enough to get started here in Muskogee County. Part of the governor's legacy is not only going to be REACH scholarship, but it's going to be this initiative as well. Yeah, because this is huge. And I've been up to Atlanta speaking with some individuals, and I do know how difficult it is. It was difficult for Monica when she was here to get community partners on board. So I wanted you to, and you hit all the bases, and I'd like for you to just go over briefly again some of the things, how this council can be instrumental in helping you as far as introductions to various partners, and eliciting help from partners, because you cannot do this job on your own. I also do know that if any individuals want to help out as far as other areas, that that it takes some of those presidents in order to make things happen. And I know you need that. You need funding as well. And so I appreciate you coming. Appreciate all your efforts. I know you will be going around to some of the various churches and whatever. I'm looking for support, but primarily, and I'm glad the Mayor Pro Tem said it, but could you repeat where you're located at, first of all, and then your phone number and your email again. Could you give that again, please?
Yes. My address is 1334 2nd Avenue. My office is located in the Day Reporting Center and now / probation office. And my email address is melanie.connor@dcs.ga.gov.
And again, thank you for all that you're doing, and you know you can call on me for support.
Yes, sir.
Councilor Hunt.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. Always a pleasure to see you. And for the community to know that not only does Ms. Connor not only does she do a lot of work here, but her husband is a minister here. He does a lot of work in the community. And he's involved this time of year, especially with the kids over at the Flu Ellen Rec Center, to make sure that Christmas comes through and they present bicycles, and he does those skits and different things of that nature. But I've had a couple of people to come and talk to me in the last couple of weeks, so the information's coming in right on time. So I'll give you a call probably within the next couple of weeks so I can sit down with you and get some other people on the right track.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I see no more questions.
Mayor Pro Tem, if I could just take a moment to introduce our coordinating chief, Jody Dillard, in the back, and then we have a few folks from the central office, Larry Dale, Kathleen Smith, and Janine Robinson as well.
Welcome. And I'm very interested in the program because when my husband worked at the Urban League, he was very interested in prison reentry.
Yes. Very much.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
On our agenda next is Mr. Bert Coker.
Hello, how y'all doing? Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'm Bert Coker, and I live at 5007 Spyglass Court, Columbus, Georgia, 31909. And I'm here to talk about a letter, or a couple of letters that I received from the Georgia Department of Law, the Attorney General's Office, Christopher M. Carr. And they related to open government complaint regarding the city of Columbus that me and Paul Olson filed. And I'd like to read some excerpts from these letters. It says, Paul S. Olson, and we use Paul's address. I am writing in response to the complaint you sent to our office regarding possible Open Meetings Act violations by the city of Columbus at their August 9th and September 27th, 2016 meetings, as well as possible Open Records violations, Act violations in their response to your request for copies of executive session minutes. I appreciate all the documents you sent me. I noticed that in redacted minutes for the August 9th executive session, real estate matters were discussed, but the executive session affidavit for the meeting did not include real estate. I have enclosed a letter I wrote to the city attorney regarding that issue, and I've got that letter. Regarding the other issues you raised, the city has acknowledged that the executive session on August 9th included a discussion of the salary of a new employee, which led to a discussion of salary adjustments for certain other city employees. I understand from your letter that certain salaries can only be changed by the way of an ordinance passed by the city council. I also understand from your letter and from news reports that some city employees did receive raises as a result of that discussion, even though no ordinance was passed. As a result, you contend that there may be legal issues with the way those salary changes was implemented. The minutes on the August 9th meeting reflect that a motion was made to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing litigation. If that is in fact the motion that was made, then OMA requires that the minutes accurately reflect the motion as it was made. OCGA 14-4A requires that the reason for the closure should be entered on the official minutes. Our office does not have the authority to investigate allegations such as the violations of a city charter. If you believe a crime has been committed, you may contact your local district attorney to report criminal conduct. Now that was the letter that we got, and this is the letter Clifton Fay got. It says, Mr.
Could you read that last paragraph one more time?
Sure.
That if you think
Okay.
you think
Okay. Our office does not have the authority to investigate allegations such as the violation of a city charter. If you believe a crime has been committed, you may contact your local district attorney to report criminal conduct. And this is the one, I'll read some excerpts from the one Clifton Fay got. I am writing you, Clifton Fay, Mr. Clifton Fay, City Attorney's Office. Open government complaint from Paul Osenberg regarding the City of Columbus. I am writing to you in your capacity as an attorney for the City of Columbus. Our office received a complaint from Mr. Paul Olson describing possible Open Meetings Act and Open Records Act violation by the city. Mr. Olson was specifically concerned with the August 9th and September 29th, 2016 meetings and executive sessions that occurred during those meetings. Mr. Olson also made an open records request for a copy of executive session meetings from September 27, but the city did not provide those minutes. After receiving the documents that Mr. Olson sent me, which included meeting minutes, executive session minutes, and executive session affidavits, I noticed a problem with the executive session affidavit from August 9, 2016 meeting. The redacted minutes released by the city indicate that a discussion of property acquisition occurred. Such a discussion is allowed by the open meetings. However, the affidavit from that executive session does not reflect that such a discussion occurred. I got 5 more, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. Mr. Olson also questioned whether the city had complied with the requirements of OCGA 50-14-4A, that when a meeting is closed for any allowable reason, the specific reason for such closure shall be entered upon the official minutes. The Act does not say exactly where the reason for closure should be noted. If the city is willing to correct the problems noted above regarding the executive session affidavits for future meetings, I do not believe that any further action or intervention from our office will be necessary. Please let me know if these problems will be remedied. With regard to Mr. Olson's open records request for the executive session minutes from the September 27th meeting, OCGA 15-14-1E 2C exempts these meetings from the Open Records Act. However, Nothing in the acts will prevent the city from releasing a redacted version of the minutes if it chooses to do so, in which it offered to do for Mr. Olson. As a part of our mediation program, our office visits local governments around the state to provide training and presentation on open government. I would be happy to do a presentation on open records or open meetings for the city, for both the city, council, and employees, if they ever felt it was beneficial. We are also available by phone to discuss open government issues. Although we cannot offer legal advice, we try to provide resources and information about the Open Records and Open Meetings Acts. I would also like to note that some of the code citations in the city's forms and affidavits need to be updated. The response to Mr. Open Records request referred to OCGA 50-14-3B3, which is no longer the paragraph that refers to the confidentiality of executive session meetings. Some of the references on the executive session affidavit are also out of date. In other words, I think what they're saying is they will come down here and teach y'all how to run your government as far as being open and transparent to the people of Columbus, Georgia. And then this is not a laughing matter. It's a serious matter, and I suggest that y'all take heed and really think about this, because these are felonies, and they can be brought up as felonies if people decide to go to their local attorney general and file a complaint, if the local attorney general thinks that the complaints are valid. So, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and God bless you, and please try to do a better job in running the city. Have a good day.
Thanks, Bert. Merry Christmas to you. So, Clifton, did you have something you wanted to?
Yes, before Mr. Coker leaves the office building here, he may want to get a copy of this letter that I'm about to read into the record, at least part of it. Here's your copy, Mr. Coker. He mentioned raises that were granted and rescinded by the council. Those were rescinded administratively and formally by council resolution. The executive session open meetings matters, the Attorney General wrote me back on November 29th. I'll read these two middle paragraphs of the letter for the record. The updated executive session affidavit looks good. One suggestion that I've made recently to some other agencies is to include Section 50-14-3(4). That's not one that comes up very often, but it's handy to have it there on rare occasion when it's needed. I understand from your letter that part of the executive discussion on August 9th that was labeled property acquisition was actually part of the discussion of the settlement of potential litigation, and therefore was not included as a separate item on the affidavit. I think the Open Meetings Act could allow that situation to be handled in more than one way, so the way the city did the affidavit doesn't appear to violate the Act. Ms. Clerk will give you a copy for your record also. And the last item, the September 27 executive session minutes, were just approved by this council today. As we had promised before, we will give Mr. Olson a redacted copy and Mr. Owen at the ledger before the end of the week. That's it.
So, let's see, just to clarify, so once accurate information was given to the Attorney General, they found that there was no violation whatsoever?
Absolutely correct.
And they did make the helpful suggestion that Tiny update the form, so no affidavit that had been signed was changed or altered in any way, shape, or form, but there had been a state legislative amendment that changed the lettering of the subpart of the statute, and so they recommended Tiny just update
Some
that.
code section numbers were updated, and they said that looks good.
Great. All right, good. Hopefully, Bert, that will help. Thank you. All right. It is, though, a lesson is that the information you give a lawyer affects the opinion the lawyer gives you. So, You got to make sure the information in is correct if you want the opinion to be correct. Next, we have Teresa Alamine, representing the Southern Anti-Racism Network, and she'd like to speak to us about the September 13th public comment follow-up. Ms. Alamine, welcome.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I'm very glad to be here. I do have a document I would like to share with council.
Yes, if somebody can get that from you.
Yeah, there are 25 copies, so if there are any extras, I'll take them back.
If you'll just state your name and address for the record.
Yes, this is like the 5-minute warning kind of thing.
No, we have 5 minutes, and you'll have another 5 minutes, just to help with the time, so everybody
Okay.
has even time.
Okay. Teresa Elamine, 3911 Steam Mill Road, here in Columbus. And what is being passed out are the comments I made before the school board last evening, which directly connects to the reason I came to your town 6 years ago. And Mayor, this is going to be a little bit of the personal and the political coming together. I came here 6 years ago to expand the Southern Anti-Racism Network out of North Carolina into South Carolina, Georgia, and Alabama. It was a 5-year plan. And so I came here to be in this town to work on education, not incarceration, which is why I'm making this connection. And I discovered your prison labor, and I discovered that the school district is producing the human capital, the human resources for your prison labor here. And I was quite, thank you so much, and I was quite upset about it. So I actually started a project called Building a Village. And Mayor, I got my tissues here, so I won't be emoting all over the place. But this is a note that you gave me, Mayor, your personal note to me, October 26, 2012. Dear Teresa, the Building a Village initiative represents promise for our children, their parents, and the educational challenges inherent in our society. I applaud your mobilizing to address these challenges and wish you much success. Imagine what success looks like. If you can dream it, it can certainly be achieved. Hats off to you, very truly. Teresa Pike Tomlinson, Mayor, Columbus Consolidated Government. You know, I've received citations and proclamations from mayors in other cities where I've been organizing, because I've been organizing for a very long time, Mayor. And the mayor of Providence, Rhode Island, we called the Bud Eye. We ended up in federal prison at one point, but Buddy C. Yancey gave me a citation. The mayor of Durham, North Carolina, gave me proclamations for the organization and for myself. Maybe you'll give me one when I leave. But nevertheless, this note from you had me working so hard, I didn't realize I had become ill. There's a rheumatologist in this town who will remain nameless, who gave me a toxic combination of methotrexate and prednisone. I'm allergic to that. I had stopped sleeping, Mayor. I was working so hard, I'd fall asleep at my desk, and I said, oh, I don't remember getting sleepy. I was fainting. And so when I fainted in Dillard's department store, and the EMS came to get me, that January day, 2013, is when my nightmare began. And as you recall, at last month's, at the September meeting, I remember telling you about getting arrested after the police tricked their way into my apartment and arrested me. And I kept thinking, because during that year, 2013, Mayor, I had people all over the world calling you and emailing you to get the charges dropped. I felt like you had deserted me, Mayor. But in these years since then, I see how you really are. And especially during the property tax freeze debate, I see who you really are. And I want to put all of that behind us. Relax, City Attorney. I will not be suing the Columbus Consolidated Government.
I was going to say, your statute of limitations is run.
Relax. Relax. I have more problems with the medical institutions in this town. But Mayor, I'm going to need your help over the years to come to get the building, the village going. Can I count on your support?
To do what now?
The building, the village. I want to be able to count on your support because I will be back before council with something very specific. The criminal justice system is fueled by young people who get in trouble. The school-to-prison pipeline is real. When you look at those statistics there about the schools that are doing so poorly, you have the Columbus High School, which gets over 100%. That's my little 5-minute warning.
5-minute warning.
Okay, the Columbus High School gets over 100%. If you saw the news article on Sunday where the disaggregated data is there, 105%. They get extra because the Columbus High School has a fundraising machine like none other. All of the alum from Columbus High School, including that famous attorney, his first name was Mort, and he passed away not too long ago, but he was one of the champions of the fundraising machine at Columbus High School. Britt David, you know, these two private schools within a public school district are interesting. Columbus is an interesting town, but you have a level of poverty in this town which is fueling the school-to-prison pipeline. And that's what I'm here to work on in your town. Now, I came here on a 5-year plan, but because of what happened in 2013, I lost a whole year. So it turned into a 6-year plan. As the mayor probably knows, and some other people know, I plan to leave Columbus because I have to move on to the next station. But I'm going to be here at least for the next 3 months, working on building a village through a program called Strong Parental Involvement in Community Education, and I will be coming back for material support from the City Council. I've been talking with Seth Brown about it, and when I come back next month, I'll show a video about the program so you can understand how important it is for closing and plugging the school-to-prison pipeline. That's what I'm doing in your town. So the information that I presented to you in September about the broken windows policing, that is something that you can deal with on a policy basis. I know I gave you a bunch of ordinances from the city of Atlanta, but Atlanta is a funny kind of town that basically fell in a hole and it can't get out in terms of that package of ordinances that I gave you last time. Is everybody paying attention? Okay, because it's really important to understand that what the police do in this town, arresting young people for trespassing, getting all kinds of young people in trouble and getting them records, many of the things is misdemeanors. But you know, you sit in state court and you see the foolishness that happens out of arrests. I was one of the foolishness things, arrested for calling 911 because I didn't have a friend in this town, and I really think I don't have a friend in this town. Will you be my friend, Mayor? Will you be my friend?
Absolutely.
So it's very hard to find friends in a town where people are so afraid to do anything because people call up on your job and they report to your employer when you are doing things in the community to help people. This is a fact in Columbus. I have never heard of such a thing in my life, but people do it. And there are actually some elected officials who have admitted to doing it, calling up on people's jobs. And one elected official told me how they call her job, but she's got her own business. And so we were laughing about it. People call on your jobs to try to hurt you. Well, nobody in this town pays me. I do have 3 defined benefit pensions, really 3 defined benefit pensions that are really defined benefit pensions, and my Social Security. So nobody in this town pays me. So there's no job they can call on for me. So I'm going to work very hard. I'm not going to work myself sick this time, Mayor. I'm not. But I'm going to work very hard for the children in this town because the Southern Anti-Racism Network is here to stay. We have members here. We have a steering committee here. We have board members here. And so we're building in the region. For the Columbus to Macon corridor is what we're building. So we got members in Buena Vista, board members in Smith Station, board members in Columbus, board members in Macon. We're here to stay because I've grown to love this town as much as I feel sorry for it. But there are lots of things that are going to have to get done at the state level in order to make it right, especially around the prison labor thing. But I just wanted to let you know who this crazy woman is in your town organizing, who's going to be moving to Gastonia, North Carolina, probably around April. But you would hardly notice I've left because I'll be coming back so much. But that's who this crazy woman is who's been organizing in your town for 6 years. And I just wanted you to know that.
Well, thank you so much, and we
And thank
appreciate
you.
all you do.
And thank you. You know, my papers are at Duke University, and your note will become a part of my papers at Duke University.
Well, great. Well,
Well,
thank you.
Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I cherish this note.
Well, I'm glad you
Never
do.
got anything like this from a mayor before.
Well, I'm
Thank you
glad.
so much.
Thank you so much, and good luck to you.
Well, don't y'all have anything to say to me?
Oh, they're worn out from the last,
I hear you.
hour and a half conversation, so.
Well, and
so,
I was practically in tears, and I said to Ms. Hollowell, they cannot solve that pension plan issue up here with all the talking they are doing. And I know pension plans, and when I first came here, when you were struggling with the 15-year plan, when I first came here and I listened to Councilmember Davis and all of you debating about taking that 15-year option in the year 2027, when the pension plan must be solvent, you will all be long gone. Now, the question is, what's happening to the employees right now?
Sure.
And they are getting a bad deal.
Sure.
It's another story, but I'll be talking about it maybe in January.
Okay.
About the bad deal.
Well, you come back, and we'll get you on public agenda again, but thank you, and we appreciate you being here
I
today.
know you're tired.
Well,
but-
and we got to make sure we give everybody equal time, and your time expired, so that's why we're trying to hustle it along. All right.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, and let's see, the fourth individual on our list actually left, and so perhaps we'll be coming back at another time. And then next we have Tallulah, what is it? Palawa. It's so good to see you, and of course, I know your sweet face, and I'm so sorry I cannot say the name, but we're so glad to have you. You say it for the record so we can get it straight.
Your Honor, Mayor, and the Council, City of Columbus. I know a lot of faces sitting up there because I retired from the City of Columbus, continued from Columbus Police Department up to Municipal Court. And I retired, and so is my husband retired from the City of Columbus too. And he retired from the service, U.S. Army, so we are Columbus residents. We've been here over 30 plus years. But now, my name is Tallulah Puelo. I'm the secretary of the Samoan Congregational Church here in Columbus. We started from Fort Benning and ended up in Columbus. And this church consists of serving members as of now and retirees that make Columbus as their home. And we are not a big church. We are a little church, but we have a big heart. And we're all the way from the South Pacific island of American Samoa, but we make Columbus as our home because of service, and we raise our children, grandchildren, and they want Columbus to be their home. And to make the story short, we are affiliating with Benning Hill Baptist Church. We are renting from them because we cannot afford a building. But we'll make it through one day at a time. But coming here today, I brought our pastor. He's a retired person from Columbus Church. He's a humble person. He volunteered to be our leader. And we have our youth group from our church wanted to do giving something back to the city of Columbus, to the needy people. That we heard that a big fire here off of St. Mary's Road. Yes. So our children wanted to give back to them. What we have is whatever we have, need clothing, personal things that they need. We are willing to do it, but our pastor will talk more about it. But honorable, our best friend here, Mr. Pons, is always there in our church. And we're asking for a place to do this festivities this coming Saturday, and he volunteered his office. But we encourage you guys, please spread the word. We're going to be on Buena Vista Road this weekend, giving out what we can to help the people of Columbus, and we're giving it with our heart. The season of giving is the God's Son. Love each other. So today, like I said, I retired from the city. I know a lot of you guys, but I enjoy retirement life. I don't have to run to municipal court and clock in that card no more. I'm my own boss now. But it's a blessing from God to see you all, continue the blessing. So I'm going to give it to my pastor. Oh, by the way, my name is Talua Poiloa. Our church is at number 8 Esquiline Church, Columbus, Georgia, is at Benning Hill Baptist Church. So I'm going to give it to my pastor, Pastor Loama Sialenga.
Thank you. Yes, sir, welcome.
Taloha, that means hello in Samoa, Mayor and councilors. My name is Loama Selinga, and I'm pastor of the Samoa Christian Church. We are some small community here in Columbus, Georgia, but we want to let the people know that they are loved. Now, gifts or the things that we're going to give them may be big or small, but it's the hope that they feel that they are loved as the Father loved us. We'll be giving gifts, and the youth will be singing Christmas carolings. There will be no hot food. We'll be giving canned foods, and the sole purpose is so that those that are in need can feel that they are being loved, especially this time of the year, where it's so critical to feel in the cold weather, and especially those that have been in crisis. We're fortunate to be able to have what we have, but we just want to let people know that they are not left out, that they are loved equally by a Heavenly Father, and we just want to share that.
Well, thank you so very much, and I know Pops Barnes would like to say a few words. Pops?
Pastor, thank you so much, and thank you to the youth for wanting to do something like this. You know, there are a lot of individuals who were displaced because of the fire on North Oakley Drive, and they very much need provisions. They need canned goods. They do need home items. They need sanitation items as well. So really appreciate you. Really enjoy coming to your church, Pastor. The Samoan community is very much involved, by the way, Mayor and Council, in the community at large. And I just wanted the pastor to come and to let individuals know how much, and Talua, you spoke very fervently about how much you and the youth are involved in the community, and we sincerely appreciate you. They're going to be at my office at 3640 Buena Vista Road. What time would you be there?
If it's okay with you, from 12 to 3?
12 to 3, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. You can stay as long as you want. I have spread the word out in the community to let them know that at this time of year when so many individuals, especially the ones who were misplaced by fire and really don't have, the Urban League also, Talua, called me, because I did speak with them, and they will be sending some of the individuals that were affected by the fire. So, Pastor Sulema, I want to just thank you so much again for you and the church and the youth for coming. And Talua, for you and your husband, thank you so very much. I appreciate this here on behalf of the community, but specifically the individuals who were affected in my district. And so it's going to be Saturday at 3640 Buena Vista Road from 12 to 3. And if anyone would like to contribute items to the church, Talua, would you give the address again?
Okay, is
At the microphone.
It's at number 8 Esquiline Church. Real easy. It's at Benny Hill Baptist Church. I can give my phone number if you guys, whatever time you
Please.
want. My telephone number is 706-593-7467. And I'll be glad to come down to the church and open it up. And if you have donations, we'll take it from there.
And I might also add, every 6 months, Pastor Roy Plummer, Faith Tabernacle Church, Reverend
Biggers.
Biggers at Northside Chapel, they have a unity service. If you have never been to the unity service, you need to go, because that's the way heaven's going to look. The most segregated hour in Columbus and in a lot of other places, not only in Columbus, is 11 o'clock. But at the unity services, you see so many ethnicities, so many ways to worship, that everyone's worships in their original languages, whatever. And you're in for a treat for a number of the choirs. Faith Tabernacle Choir is off the chain, and the Samoan choir is off the chain as well. And so, Pastor, so I just want to, and I know you're a very quiet person. I try to get the pastor to come more, but pastor is more reserved. Very dynamic pastor he is, and the church does a lot in the community. So, Pastor, thank you so much again for coming. Thank you for Saturday on behalf of all the individuals who are in need and will be receiving your loving kindness. Thank you so much again.
Thank you, Pops. And hold on a minute. And it is beautiful. The choir's beautiful, but also the dance is beautiful. And Tallulah, you do such a good job. I know you lead them in that, and thank you both for your service to the city. Councilor Huff.
Just want to say hello, good afternoon. Thank you for your work in the community. And a personal note, since you're retired now, you were always so kind to me long before I was elected to office. And I thank you for that over a generation of time. At my generation, you always reached out to me to guide me and help me with a lot of things. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all. And that concludes our public agenda. So at this time, we will turn it over to the city manager, Mr. Hughley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And Councilor Baker has asked that I move up number 5. I think we've got some people who were here on earlier for something on the city attorney's agenda, and they are here for something on my agenda. It's the right-of-way abandonment portion of Reach Road, and we're asking for your approval to delete from the official map of the Columbus, Georgia, an improved segment of formerly Reach Road, Old Reach Road, between the south right-of-way line of Milton Road along the eastern right-of-way line of Reach Road. You know, that is across from, I guess, Legacy, or the right there above, going past Peachtree Mall, just to give you some reference.
Okay, we've got a motion and second for approval, and this is item 5 on the agenda, so if you could bring that up, we'll do an electronic vote. It looks like there's no further discussion, and it is the correct item on the electronic voting, so you all may register your votes. And it passes.
So number 1 and 2 on my agenda, we've got TAD number 5, Midtown West, and TAD number 2, Midtown East. The president and CEO of Midtown was here, but had to leave. The school district approved this intergovernmental agreement last night, and we're bringing it before you today and asking for your approval. It's necessary for the council to approve the execution of the intergovernmental agreement in order to implement the participation of the school district in these TADs.
Got a motion and second. Is that just item 1? Item 2. Okay, 1 and 2. Seeing that there's no further discussion, the item is queued for voting. And it does pass.
And then I've got acceptance of a deed for additional right-of-way adjacent to Old Double Churches Road. We are requesting acceptance of this portion at 0.038 acres.
Got a motion and second for approval. We will queue it for electronic voting. Please register your votes. And it passes.
We've got access easement on Front Avenue. We're asking.
Got a motion and second for approval. Councilor Thomas.
Mr. City Manager, I want to make sure that I understand the process in this. This will open that entire Front Avenue through 13th Street, under the bridge, to the 14th Street bridge.
That's correct.
Is that
Yes,
right?
Yes.
It seems that I read, maybe I read in the paper, that it wasn't a complete deal yet. Did I misread that?
That is correct. This is a temporary easement to allow us, it's a permanent easement, but it's temporary in nature in the fact that the intention is for the city to eventually get that right-of-way back. But the Bradley Company has some development they want to do in that area, so therefore they want to retain ownership of the right-of-way until such time they complete their development, and then we'll make the formal transaction of deeding it back to the city.
For those who are traveling in that area, however, it will be open, right?
It will be open to the public.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you all. Let's see, that is now queued for voting, so you may record your votes. And it does pass.
Excuse me. We've got ready-mix cement on an as-needed basis. It's a contract value of $150,000 for Public Works.
All right, let's see here. We've got a motion to approve purchases A through H. Was there a second for that? Okay, yes. Did anyone want to pull any items for further discussion? Okay, seeing none, we will queue items A through H for voting. Okay, and it does pass.
And Madam Mayor, if I may, just on fuel purchases and recurring costs for E911 services, just want to mention those couple of things so that you know what you voted on. And you know, with the new limit of $10,000, we were asking you to go ahead and approve fuel purchases going forward, because typically it's around $15,000. We purchase, we go out to find the best price on fuel on a daily basis, and we purchase, and the same vendor may not get the same fuel. In other words, if it was ethanol or if it was low grade or mid grade. And so typically it's going to be more than the $10,000. And in order to do fuel on a daily basis and pay them on a timely basis so that they don't refuse to deliver, we need you to go ahead and authorize the purchase of fuel, that there's no delay in payment for that fuel because we do it on a daily basis. And then with recurring costs for E911 services, it's typically between $10,000 and $12,000. So for that same reason, we're bringing that to you. So I just wanted you to know what those are about. I've got one update. It's a healthcare update, and it's just to kind of make sure there's a refresher that will continue to air as we go into the holiday season, because some things will happen in January. There's a 2% increase in pay. That's an offset for the 2% increase in healthcare costs. And there's the gold and silver plan, and so our HR director is going to come and give an update, and I can
Okay,
only...
let's see, we've got Counselor Huff.
Okay.
I can help you fill a
Okay,
little
we're
of that
good.
time.
So I'm trying to fill in until
Yeah.
she gets here, you know.
If you would, I had asked to check in the past. When we finished the Brown Avenue Bridge, down on the back side, on the Liberty Street side, there's an orange-type hose or something that's been above ground the whole time. I don't know what it represents. And then on the, moving up a little bit down the side of the bridge on the hill, there's some piping or something that's been underground the whole time that's now starting to show above ground. I don't know if it's something that needs to stay underground to keep it warm, or whether it freezes, it causes problems. But I've never seen it before. The orange part has been above ground the whole time,
Okay.
just sitting there. But when you go
On Liberty
under the
and
bridge, yeah,
Ratcliffe,
go under
right
the
in that
bridge and
area.
go right there,
Okay.
you'll see the orange hole, and then look down the hill past the houses, and you'll see the soil eroding or something about halfway up the hill, and you'll see some piping coming out of the ground.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we have our HR director, and this is kind of just a refresher and overview. Ms. Rita Howell.
Good afternoon again, Council. Since we've had open enrollment, since we've gone through a complete plan design change with our health care, and we've had open enrollment, we finished that up the end of October, and the changes that have been approved will become effective on January 1. Because the changes were significant, we wanted to at least give a quick review of the open enrollment, what happened and the outcomes, and then so for your sake as well as for employees, we'll be communicating with them up until, January 1 so that they know what's going on, but I wanted to provide a quick overview here for council as it relates to health care and open enrollment. So, we'll have 2 medical plans as opposed to the current 3 plans that we have. There will be a silver plan and a gold plan. The Health and Wellness Center will be open to all employees on either plan. The prescription drug plan, we simply changed vendors. We're currently using Express Scripts. Come January 1, we'll be using Pharmaville. That will be our new pharmacy benefits manager. However, there are no changes to the prescription drug plan. The co-pays are exactly the same as they are in 2016. They'll be the same in 2017. Our dental insurance provided by Blue Cross Blue Shield, there is no change there. No co-pays. The vision insurance provided by Blue Cross Blue Shield, there are no changes there. The ID cards are something that the employees always try to make sure they have in hand, and we try to make sure that they have them in a timely manner. As long as they have them by January 1, everybody will be good to go. So we are in a very good spot now in terms of the implementation of the changes that will be effective January 1. So all employees will receive a new ID card. They will receive a new ID card from Blue Cross Blue Shield. It will come in the mail to their home address. On that ID card, they'll only need one. It'll have their medical information. It'll have their dental information if they sign up for dental. It'll have their vision information if they sign up for dental. This year will also include their prescription drug information. It will be on the back of the card. Right now with Express Scripts, you have 2 cards. You have your Blue Cross Blue Shield ID card, and then you have an Express Scripts ID card. Come January 1, you'll just have 1 card. It'll include all your medical, dental, vision, and on the back of the card, it'll have your prescription drug information. The ID number for your medical will be the same ID number you'll use for your prescription drug plan. For employees that we'll send more information out, but for employees as it relates to our prescription, because we are changing vendors. You see the new email address there to pharmaville.com and the new 800 number to call about prescription drug questions that you might have. So the cards will be mailed out the end of this week, so employees should receive those the week of December 26th. Also, employees that sign up for the flexible spending account, they will now receive a debit card. This is new, something that we haven't done in the past, but it just makes it more efficient for those folks who participate with the flexible spending account. There are 140 employees participating, and those cards they should receive those the week of December 19th, so next week. The new benefit that's been added, the telemedicine benefit, we had 118 employees sign up for that benefit, and they'll receive their information packets in the mail as well the week of December 19th. All of this will be coming to the employee's home address, so when you get information in the mail, be careful about not throwing it away. Take a look at it because your ID card might be in that mail. I wanted to just talk a little bit about the participation so far as enrollment was concerned. In 2016, there are 2,009 employees that are enrolled in medical, okay? For those employees that participated in open enrollment, there were 1,334 of that 2,009 employees. About 66% of employees participated in open enrollment. Of the retirees, the pre-65 retirees, there are 234 that are enrolled in medical in 2016. So about 95 or 41% of those actually participated in open enrollment. For those employees who did not participate in open enrollment for 2017, if they did not participate, they did not select a plan, they will be defaulted to the silver plan, effective January 1, 2017. And this is important because typically open enrollment, sometimes participation can be low. Although we want every employee to participate in open enrollment, reality says that a lot of employees will say, well, I don't want to change anything. I'm just going to keep what I have. And that has worked in years past. However, because we had plan design changes, employees needed to select one or the other. You couldn't keep the HMO because the HMO plan went away. You couldn't keep the Health and Wellness Center plan because the Health and Wellness Center plan went away. You couldn't keep the POS plan the way it is designed currently because it went away. So we needed employees to select either the silver plan or the gold plan. And I will say from an open enrollment standpoint, participation was good. It was not 100%. Ideally, we would like to have had 100%. So for those employees that did not make an election so that they can have health insurance come January 1, they are defaulted to the silver plan. Yes.
Councilor Barnes.
I remember at the last meeting, you did say how exhaustive you were in notifying. So now, is that still going on at the departmental level where the department head will tweak the employee and let them know, you haven't selected a plan? Is that in operation?
No, because open enrollment is passed. That's when the
I see
employee
what
gets
you're
a chance
saying.
to do it. Yes.
So now it's just too late for them?
Yes, essentially. That's why it's a period of time.
But you did at the meeting that we spoke to. What I'm saying is that at the meeting that I referenced, you said that you used every means
Absolutely.
possible
Absolutely.
to include the department heads, contacted employees, and they didn't do it. So they've had, what I'm trying to stress is that they did have an opportunity to select.
Absolutely, and I got a
Okay.
couple of slides on that, Councilor Barnes, because communication is a challenge for us, because our employees are spread out so throughout Muskogee County, no matter how many emails, how many meetings, it's still a challenge to reach every employee. Even with something this critical, it's still very challenging for us, so it's just something that we have to work on.
I know we spoke about that at the meeting and just can't identify exactly what the problem is.
Absolutely, absolutely, but we're working on it. Absolutely.
Councilor Baker.
Thank you. You may be going to address this. It sort of follows up on something that Pop's mentioned about communication. I do know that some of the assessments to get the $500 credit assessment sites were canceled. What was the follow-up to that?
I am going to talk about that.
Okay, I'll wait. Thank you.
And then I'll.
That's fine.
Okay, very good, thank you.
All right, we've got Councilor Huff.
Quick question on the flexible spending account. Did I speak? Good afternoon. How you doing?
Good, thank you.
It said that debit cards will be mailed.
Yes,
Will those debit cards have the new chip on them?
good question. I don't know if they're going to have a chip or not.
My thought process is it's been some information moving around about protection of that card. So as they carried it around, you should have a small little shield to cover it because people can steal your information and take that money off your account. All of the new cards with chips.
I'll verify it, and in the communication that I will be sending out to employees, I will include that information as to whether it will have a chip in it or not.
Have them check into being safe so that they don't go in and someone has their money and gone.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Good
thanks.
point. Thank you. In terms of the open enrollment by plan, just wanted to share this with you. With regard to the silver plan and the gold plan, a total of 1,715 employees are in the silver plan, 296 employees are in the gold plan, and for those pre-65 retirees, 205 are in the silver plan and 29 are in the gold plan. As you can also see, the majority of employees are on employee only. That's for the active employees as well as the retirees. No matter which plan you're looking at, the majority of employees are employee only, and the next largest group for active employees are the employee and children tier. With regard to the 2% pay increase and the insurance premium, this was a referral from, I believe, Mayor Pro Tem Pugh. The question was whether the 2% pay increase that will be effective January 1, whether it will fully cover those employees that selected the silver plan. And this slide shows that 119 employees, the 2% will not completely cover the cost of the premium. Those employees, just for information, those employees were all on the Health and Wellness Center plan, and those employees have selected the silver plan. 80 of those employees are in the general government. 39 are public safety employees, and by tier, 80 of those employees have family coverage. 20 of those employees have employee and spouse coverage. 19 of those employees have employee and children coverage. Annually, for those employees, that cost is $19,628. Mayor Pro Tem Pugh, does that respond to your question? Say that again?
Per?
That's the total for those 119 employees
19.
annually.
All 119 together?
Yes, that will be the annual cost that's not covered by the 2% pay increase.
What if you applied the $500 credit to that? Will those numbers change?
If you applied the $500 credit to that,
That's it.
well, that's $500.
I mean, it's not included in that number is what my question was.
That's correct. It
Okay.
is not.
Thank you.
That's correct. So all of those employees would have an opportunity to participate and receive that credit.
Right, thank you.
That's correct. Good question. Good point. And I hope this gets to your points also, Councilor Baker. I wanted to talk about the wellness initiative that we were able to put in place that you approved. 450 employees have participated in the wellness initiative, and just for your recollection, this allows employees to receive a $500 credit on their deductible that helps to offset their deductible. By participating in the health risk assessment, they get a $100 credit. By participating in the biometric screening, they get a $200 credit. If they are not deemed at risk, they automatically get the additional $200, which gets them to $500. If they are deemed at risk, they participate in coaching, and then they still get the $200 credit. I just wanted to share this little pamphlet that each employee that participated in the personal health assessment will receive a pamphlet like this mailed to their home address, and it's really extremely beneficial. It talks about it gives you just great detail about your health, from your heart to your kidney to your cholesterol to your BMI, you name it. It goes into great detail. So every employee, at least these 450 that participated, will receive this document. Chances are they've already received it. This is mine. I was really pleased to get it and get it at home. I got a lot of green. You either get, what do you get? You get green, gold, or red. You get green, gold, or red. Green is good. Red is not, gold is not so good. Red, you're at risk. So while mine is not quite as good as the city manager's, who was bragging about his the other day.
He made it a point to brag.
He made it a point. But it is so very, very good. It's helpful. I mean, it's a little document you can take and use it as your starting point for where you want to go with your health. So So all of those employees that will get that, ideally, as it relates to the wellness incentive, and we got a lot of pushback on it, but ideally, this is the thing that we want to do annually. We want to have a health risk assessment, a paper document done every year. We want to have those biometric screening done every year. And, if we're at risk, we want to have the health coach interact with us so that we can improve those areas of risk. And I'll just also take time to say this. When we were doing all these meetings with the employees said, well, why do you keep, every time you come, you're saying, you're asking for more money, health insurance is going up. So, why do you keep doing this? Well, unless and until we do something about this, unless we do something about taking responsibility for our own health, we're going to still talk about the money associated with health insurance. But when we start taking that responsibility for our own health and doing something about it, that helps control the cost. So I would love to not talk about money, but we got to talk about how we take responsibility for our health.
Councilor Barnes.
You want to know something? I don't know why any employee would not take advantage of this here. I mean, this is excellent, and I'm glad I did know at the meeting. I got one of the green books, but I did know that every employee received a copy of that. That should be incentive enough for them on a personal level. If they want to be on this earth plane a little while longer, and especially for their loved ones, they need to take advantage of this here. I stress this continually, that you need to have it. And I know the city manager was glad that all his running every morning paid off for him.
Absolutely.
But it's really for your own personal health. And yes, in the long run, in the overall scheme of things, if each employee adheres to something like this here, it will drive the health costs down for the employees.
Absolutely.
But this is a gift. I mean, this is great. Wellness initiative.
So in addition to receiving the $500 credit on your deductible, we further incentivized every employee that participated by giving them a $50 gift card. So that's something to have in time. We also gave them, or they will receive a gift card from either Chick-fil-A or Subway. So we're continuing trying to incentivize employees. Now, Councilor Baker, you asked about some of the events being canceled. Some of the events, we rerouted them because the folks that were doing the screening we were paying them. They were coming out of Tulsa. We didn't have enough employees signed up for an event that we had 2 or 3 people. There was a whole staff of folks that were assigned to come and do the screening for them. So yes, we ended up rescheduling some of those events. We redirected those to the Health and Wellness Center for those folks who could have the PHA done, have the screening done. So we've done a couple of those last week. We've got 2, I believe, scheduled this week. So we're trying to get every employee in. They do get those employees still participating. They're going to get this. They get the $50 gift card. They get the Subway or Chick-fil-A, whichever. They still get the same incentives. They still get the credit on their deductible. At the end of this year, though, that will go away because we need to be able to do the aggregate numbers from the information that we're collecting. But we did reroute some of them because the participation was so low.
Is there a time, would you go with a time frame to still, for those that may not have gotten a message, is there a time frame to still get in?
Yes.
Could you explain that?
I believe it is December 13th and December 15th from 8 till 5, any day. I'll send out.
Does the company schedule those? Will you call the number on the brochure, or do you schedule that through HR?
They can call the number, the 1-800 number that's on the brochure, the information that we've sent out. They can call the Health and Wellness Center and make an appointment. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. So as I mentioned earlier, as it related to open enrollment, just the challenge of communication. Ideally, we'd like to have 100% participation in open enrollment, but we know from past experience that typically doesn't happen. And even though we really needed everybody to make a selection this year, to get 66% participation. That was probably pretty good for us. Even after having 25 meetings and touching every department, that's still, to try to get information out to employees. We had an online benefit resource center that provided information for employees, education information. We had customized videos. Those are still available on our website. Employees had an opportunity to have a one-on-one with a council member. If they didn't understand what the benefits were, they had a chance to do that, talk one-on-one. They could go in and schedule a meeting. They could call the 1-800 number and have a conversation that way. Or they could do self-service. If they felt like they could do it themselves, it was pretty simple enough, straightforward. Get your login information, go ahead and complete your benefits information there. But even with all that, we still had some challenges with communication. So that's something that I just share with you all, that it's a challenge for us trying to reach our employees, even though the information is extremely important, even though they need to participate. It's just very challenging. And I can appreciate an employee that works out in the field. They rarely come in the office. They don't have email access, and that's one of our primary ways of communicating is email. But for somebody that doesn't have email, it can be a challenge. They're depending on their supervisor to give them that information. And sometimes we get a gap there, so we're continuing to work on that. Any questions?
And Madam Mayor and Council, I'm going to have CCG Mike King to pull Director Hollowell's portion from the council meeting and rebroadcast it during the holiday season so that employees can catch it and get this update so that they know where we are and how things are going to work as we go into January 1st. Thank you. Just one announcement. Garbage collection. Christmas Day and New Year's Day falls on a Sunday this year. And so there will be no change in waste collection schedules. And so whatever you do this week, what you did last week, what you do next week is going to be the same during the week of Christmas and the same during the week of New Year. There is no change in waste collection. And so we do want to just make sure as they rebroadcast this, those who are watching will listen and know that there's no change in the waste collection schedule as a result of Christmas falling on Sunday and New Year's Day falling on Sunday. No change in waste collection schedule.
We've got Councilor Thomas.
Mr. City Manager, my fellow councilor here has gone to get Ms. Hollowell back. I wanted to say to her, the culture in the city government has changed somewhat in that right now we are, particularly our HR department, tries so very hard to communicate with everybody. And sometimes in years past, that hadn't been a problem, or that hadn't been the direction that we've always been. But particularly since Ms. Hollowell has been in the HR director position, she has, I think, gone above and beyond to try to make sure that all of our employees have as much information about whatever the issue happens to be. And I just want to make sure that she knows that I appreciate it. I think my fellow councilors appreciate it. You can always depend on her to get the word out just as blanket wide, as fully as possible. And I, for one, appreciate it.
Thank you. That concludes my agenda.
All right. We'll move into the clerk's agenda, and we have Ms. Washington.
Madam Mayor and members of council, have a short agenda today. Item 1 is a resolution to excuse Councilor Woodson.
We've got a motion. Is there a second to excuse the absence of Councilor Woodson? All those in favor, please state aye.
I also have an add-on to excuse Councilor Henderson from today.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please state aye.
On our board appointments, on the Board of Family and Children Services, Ms. Talua can be confirmed.
Got a motion and second for approval. All those in favor, please state aye.
On our Board of Honor, Ms. Pierce can be confirmed.
We've got a motion and second for approval on the Board of Honor. All those in favor, please state aye.
On our Civic Center Advisory Board, I believe Councilor Baker, you're still working, and
Gloria Smart, she said she had someone interested.
okay, we'll make contact with her.
I thought she already did.
On a Cooperative Extension Advisory Board, Ms. Maddie Washington does not want to serve again. Council needs to make a nominee for that seat. Public Safety Advisory, Councilor Huff, you're still working? On our Recreation Advisory Board, Councilor Davis.
Yes, Councilor Davis.
And I am, I think the city manager and I had a conversation about that, and I think he's looking into some things, so I'm waiting for his
Okay.
update.
Okay. All right.
And also, I'd like to announce to council, which I failed to inform you at our last meeting, but council will need to have an organizational meeting at our first meeting in January 3rd. So do we want to have that a morning meeting, or do we want that to be in conjunction with our proclamation meeting?
What's council's pleasure? What's that? Yeah, and Mayor Pro Tem is saying people have to be sworn in, so
Morning?
let's do it the
Yeah.
first meeting in the morning, I guess?
Okay.
Do you want to do that? Any objection?
That's proclamation.
I'm sorry?
So are you suggesting that we convert the proclamation meeting to a morning meeting versus making the proclamation meeting
I'm
part
not
business? And
suggesting. I don't, did somebody say something about the proclamation meeting?
No, that's why I'm asking.
I think we should do like we did last
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Proclamation meeting is at 5:30. We could do the first portion as the business
Yeah.
and then go into the proclamation.
Yeah, as long as we announce it as a business meeting, then
Yes.
it's okay.
That's fine.
Yes, hold on a second.
I was just suggesting that we might want to think about having the swearing in at 5 o'clock and then go into the other session at 5:30.
Okay, just make sure that gets on the calendar. And judges, yeah, we will have to contact the judges. So.
Just let us know.
Tiny, can you contact Judge McBride and see if he or whoever else is going to be here?
I will. Can we just have an oral resolution approving
Okay.
that?
Will somebody make a motion that we...
Motion.
So there's a motion that we convert our proclamation resolution session to a business meeting and proclamation resolution session, and that it begin at 5 p.m., and that's the first Tuesday of January.
Right.
Okay. All those in favor, please state, was there a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
Councilor
All those in favor, please state aye. Okay, and we have Mayor Pro Tem?
I was gonna make,
Is that it? Okay. All right, let's see, Councilor Davis.
Madam Mayor, if we just make sure we get that memo on that.
Reminder.
Yeah, memo reminder.
We'll get that out to council.
Okay.
That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I know it.
All right, anything further?
Well, yes.
Yes.
Madam Clerk, as I previously received a letter dated November 21st. It's from the Citizens That Keep the Freeze Committee, and it was addressed to the members of the legislative delegation. I think each council member got a copy as well, and so I meant last week to file this with the clerk of council and the council records, but I failed to do so. So this morning I'd like, or it's probably afternoon by now, I would like to officially file this with the clerk for council records.
Okay. We have Councilor Woodson.
Yes, Ms. Tani, had a question for you. When we were voting on the resolution on the state legislation agenda, I had to leave because I had an emergency with my mom. Can I still show my vote on that or not? Because I was the, how do you say it? I was one of the people that asked for it, one of the sponsors. Can you check and see, because I was one of the sponsors? I was here, I just had to leave. Can you follow up on that?
I will.
And just if you can check, I don't know who you would check in the state, but if you can check and see, because I was here. I just had a family emergency and after left, and since I was the co-sponsor, I would like to show my stuff.
Let's get a motion to approve her vote in favor of that item.
It's a
You can do that?
resolution?
It's-
Okay.
Okay.
It's a motion and a second in favor of the resolution, of allowing Counselor Woodson to vote in the assent and the affirmative on that resolution which she stated. All those in favor, please state aye. Any opposed?
Thank you, and I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Thank you. Counselor Barnes.
As everyone can see, I'm in the Christmas spirit. Every Christmas I am. But there is a family, the Taylor family on Dunhill Drive, and I know some of y'all have been to her home inside and out, that it just lights up the whole community. And she and her husband keep it up throughout the entire year on Dunhill Drive. It's just marvelous. The entire house, you have to see it to believe it, is decorated from the front door to the back door, not only the outside. And it's for them to take that extra effort is really commendable, as well as the Luby family. The Luby family is, for them to take that extra effort during the holidays is just truly commendable. So I just wanted to mention that. And everybody have a safe and happy Christmas.
All right.
And
Thank
New
you.
Year.
And I know we all join in wanting to wish everyone as Pop said, a safe and happy holiday, Christmas and New Year. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Wait, Carrie.
Oh, hold on, we've got Counselor Allen.
I have a very important statement, Mayor.
Yes.
I have been out of town for several days, and I forgot the Aflac ducks.
Oh, no.
So I will get them, try to get them to Tiasha and work something out. But anyway, I just
Well,
wanted you to
thank
know, I had good intentions.
That's very, very kind. Thank you so much. And we look forward to that. If there's nothing further, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. And that's a motion and second. All those in favor, please state aye. Great, we'll see you in the new year. Thank you all.